Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Hello, Petermans. This is not JP, although this is the JP Peterson Show. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, 10 to noon Eastern, heard around the world on fanstreamsports.com, wherever you get your podcasts later the same day. The omnipotent JP Peterson, of course, is traveling today because his alma mater, once again, takes priority over the show, as you can possibly imagine. So he is traveling to the, I think that's where he's going. You know, it's weird. I didn't even ask. When he said he was off today and traveling, I didn't even bother to ask. I just sort of assumed. That might have been bad on my part. But we've still got a JP Peterson show for you here. I don't know that we'll go the full 2 hours. We might. And we are admittedly recycling some of yesterday's show at JP's request. We have the big O, Orestes Destrade, or as JP introduces him on his show, Orestes Destrade, talking about the Rays' new ownership from his show earlier this week. Took a clip of that. We've got Doug Wechter from yesterday's interview talking about the Rays, their future, new ownership, go figure. And then we've got some of the William Floyd interview from yesterday. How about that? Previewing the Seminoles. Oh, is that Atlanta Braves or is that Florida? I don't even know. I don't know the difference between. Don't they do that in Kansas City too? I feel like somebody's ripping somebody off. I don't know, man. I feel dirty when I do that, though, to be quite honest with you. And of course, you guys, the Petermans, are going to be a big, big part of the show today with your comments. And you guys got comments coming in already before the show. By the way, what do y'all think of my crafty AI work right there with JP as the pirate? I can't do the pirate accent like he can, unfortunately. I wish I could. As always, though, I have to share the show across social media, something you guys behind the scenes here don't know that I do. While JP's doing his little monologue, I always have to go in here on my phone and I have to share the show with the world across everywhere. And now it's hard to do since I am on my own doing the monologue myself. But we will get into, again, your Bucs, the injury report. We're going to cover that off the top. And, of course, you Petermans. Oh, by the way, if you guys are into fantasy football, Tito is coming on from 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, Ohio. Also from FanStream Sports, Ohio. So get your fantasy football questions ready. They dropped their Fantasy Football Island podcast here on FanStream Sports, I believe, yesterday. I mean, I should know. I edited. So get your questions ready for Tito. He's coming on at 11. And as I mentioned, we've got these interviews from yesterday to talk about all the stuff. But first, let's get into some of these comments because, again, this is your show. This is not my show. And I am being attacked right off the top, guys. What the hell? Mike H. I'm going to skip your first comment because I'm coming back to that. Mike H. was in early. He was in early, almost an hour before the show started. Parking traffic will be a mess in Seattle Sunday. Bucs play there at 4. Mariners game is 8. Stadiums share the parking lots. Yes, and as we discussed, they do not have the infrastructure in Seattle to support games at both stadiums at the same time, so they're cutting it very close. But you know what my question is, Mike? Who cares? Are you going to the game? I'm not going to the game. I'm not going to be in Seattle. I'm going to watch the Bucs and Seahawks. I'm going to watch the Mariners on TV. I'm not going to be there, so I don't really care what their problem is in Seattle. Seattle is a miserable, miserable city. It's one of my least favorite cities on the planet, and yes, I have a list. I spent 57 days in Seattle in the year 2001. And it was over the summertime, as I was there for some on-the-job BS. You know how many times I saw the sun? One day. Saw the sun one day. The day I was leaving, as I flew out of SeaTac, the sun came out. The rest of the 2 months I was there, overcast. And this was in June and July. And it never got above like 85 degrees, which normally you'd say, oh, well, yeah, it's Tampa. That's nice. No, it was rainy. And in the middle of the night, it's in the 50s and rainy. Oh, my God, it was so miserable. Now I know why people in Seattle, why the suicide rate is what it is. Good God, people. Also from Mike H., Seattle signed Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100.5 million deal. He's been passed around a lot. Yeah, Jets, Panthers, 49ers, Vikings, Seahawks. Yes, and we talked about Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield in Carolina and the sort of the cast-offs. Go check out a nice little article I wrote at fanstreamsports.com about their correlation and their time there. It kind of corresponds with JP's question to Baker in the presser earlier this year. Do you and Sam reminisce about your time in Carolina? And he was just kind of like, nope, which I get. Now, Mike, to your first question, I'm being attacked already. It is only 9 o'clock my time, okay? This is way too early to attack me. Yet here we are. So, Mike, when you say this, I guess you were looking at the fine picture I put of myself from a few years ago. I was on a bike ride on the motorcycle that someone snapped of me on the thumbnail. Mike says, this is the guy that got stabbed 4 different times by 4 different people. True story as told by Timm. Can't imagine why. Were you messing with other dudes' women? So, first of all of that is true. I've been stabbed once in the chest, once in the back, once in the abdomen, and once in the butt. 4 different occasions. 3 of those occasions were not women related, but were bar fight related. And actually, all 3 of those, I never even started the fight. I was just involved. 2 of those occasions were at the same bar here in Dallas. I think I'd learned my lesson after the first time. However, the first time, and I'm sure I've told this on these airwaves, I know I've told them on my show before. The first time was when I was 17 years old. And I was cruising around with my friends. I was a bartender in downtown Dallas in a place called the West End Marketplace, at a great place called Tony Roma's, which doesn't exist anymore, which was an Italian eatery. They specialized in ribs. I guess Italian ribs. I never thought about it before I said it just now. But we were drinking heavily and walking around. It's kind of a walk around outdoor. I don't know, maybe like Ybor is in Tampa. I don't know. And it was at the time a place known for ladies of the night to hang out. So you can imagine sober Tim's kind of a mess, right? Now think about 17-year-old drunk Tim hanging out with his buddies. And I kept passing this cute little lady of the night. She was hanging out with her friends on various corners, and we would pass them multiple times. And I thought she was cute. I knew what she was. I knew what the situation was. But I felt, much like a 3rd grader, when you like a girl, what do? You make fun of her. So I started in making fun of her. And at some point, I took it just a little too far. And she got a little angry at me. And as we are walking back to the parking lot, it's well past 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, as I'm drunkenly walking with my friends back to the car. The driver was sober. Don't worry. She was sober. I heard her running up behind me, clap, 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 on the concrete. And I turned around. I thought she was, coming up to give me a hug or something. So I was going to play hard to get. I kept on walking, and it felt like she slapped me on the butt, like just a hard spank, right? And I was kind of, again, drunk Tim. Oh, hey, so I'm heckling back at her. Come on, don't run away, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Didn't think twice about it until I started feeling blood running down the back of my leg. I was wearing khaki shorts. Started feeling blood running down the back of my leg as I'm about to get in my friend's car, which was a 2-door, and I'm getting in the back seat. So, you open the door, fold the seat up. I'm bending over. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Pulled me out, and there's just blood everywhere coming out of my butt. So what we had determined later the next day is that, no, I didn't go to the hospital. It was like a pocket knife. It wasn't even a big deal. But my first story of being stabbed in the butt by a hooker. And a lot of people, that's Tim's favorite story, that and waking up in New Orleans spooning a homeless guy. That's another group of, like, one of my friends' favorite story. I've got Tim stories coming out the stab butt, by the way. Yeah, so there's and then, like I said, the other 3 occasions, bar fights. Look, I have never knowingly hit on a taken woman. All right. I have all my faults, right? I have a ton of faults. God knows I have faults, but I've never hit on a married woman knowingly, for sure. Sober or drunk. If she's married, I know enough to stay away from it. Even if she's hitting on me first, if I see a ring, I'm out. Now, drunk Tim may have knowingly hit on a girl dating somebody, but usually I back off pretty quick, even when I'm drunk. I have more respect for people than that, usually. I say usually, because, who knows? There are times. JS, those are Seahawks colors. Tim is jinxing us again. Wait, what are Seahawks colors? You posted that way before we came on the air. Where do you see Seahawks colors, JS? Please explain yourself. I don't know where I posted that. I wouldn't post Seahawks colors. I hate the Seahawks because they're from Seattle. Although I do like the throwbacks. Sergio Bilters, good morning to you. Good morning, Petermans. We are honored today to have the great Tim hosting alone today. Oh, my gosh. Well, thank you, sir. You may think differently here in about 30 minutes when this show just goes to complete crap. JS, Tim. Woo! Yeah, buddy. Again, all you guys might have a different narrative on this as we get closer to the end of the show. And by the way, I don't even know when the end of the show is going to be. I mean, it'll probably be noon if we get there. I don't know if we're going to get there. Mark Davis, dying to know who are the Tampa businessmen part of the Rays deal. Well, I'm not getting into that because that's JP's territory. Big O talks about it a little bit, I think, on the segment I've got from his show here that we'll play shortly. I don't remember if Doug touched on that. I don't think he did yesterday in the segment with us. But, yeah, that's certainly information that will be coming out soon. Yeah, as JS says, there's been a bunch of names that revealed already. Absolutely. Douglas Batista, good morning, Tim and Petermans. Good morning to you, Doug. Mike H., today is the 30th anniversary of the OJ verdict. Boy, that's a subject we can get into, isn't it? JS, good morning to the great Tim. Good morning to you again, JS. I should go the full 2 hours. We might go the full 2 hours. Depends on when you guys get tired of hearing me BS. Fight my way through this thing. The Dirty JP, the Pirate, is a great pick. Should be the new logo. I'm working on that, by the way. JP said he wanted to change the show logo and change some of the branding. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we go with that, right? Like, I'm not fully against that. I just did it as a backdrop for the show. I didn't realize everybody's going to want it as part of the branding. But, I mean, hey, I'll take it for sure. Good morning, John Hill. Bucs need the handicapped logo on its flag due to the player's current health state. Man, that's not a lie. We'll get into some of that here in a second as I've got there it is. Yeah, I've got the Bucs injury report. And like we talked about yesterday, it seems more like the roster as long as it is. David Terry, the war chant began in 1983 from the Florida State Seminoles. Okay, well, when did the Atlanta Braves start doing that? And when did the Kansas City Chiefs start doing that? I think the Kansas City Chiefs, I want to say they're probably the newest ones to it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I feel like everyone's stealing it from each other. Just because you have an Indian tribe as your mascot, I guess it does mean that you can do the war chant tomahawk thing, right? I mean, hell, who am I to set rules for programs and cross college football? JS, Tim, are you rooting for anyone in the MLB playoffs? Yes, sir, I am. And I have caught every single freaking game because it's Major League Baseball playoffs. I hate that the wild card series is just a best of 3. I would love to see the wild card series be a best of 7. I would like all the rounds to be a best of 7. I feel like you're cheapening the wild card rounds. Now, I know it would make for a longer, but dude, you can never have too much playoff baseball. Give me a break. I don't understand that. I get the people don't care as much for baseball as I do. And trust me, I understand that. I'm a sick individual with as much baseball as I love, and as much baseball as I watch, even during the regular season. I do completely understand that. But as I continue to share the show across social media channels here, I'm really not ignoring you guys, I promise. But as far as the teams I'm rooting for, after I just said how much I hate the city of Seattle, I'm kind of rooting for the M's. Just because as a franchise, they're a very likable team, and they are in the same division as my beloved Rangers. But I don't hate them like I hate the Angels and the A's for some reason. And I don't know why. I can't explain it. Maybe it's because they've never won anything. Had that 116-game season back whenever it was in 01, 02, whatever it was, and they didn't even make the World Series. The 116-win season, rather. So, yeah, I think I'm pulling for the M's over in the National League. If I'm rooting for a team, probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I like the Dodgers. The Dodgers. I really do. I like the team. Clayton Kershaw, it's his last year. He's from right here in Dallas. Won't call him a close friend of mine because he's not, but we've certainly hung out. Me and him and Matthew Stafford, by the way, if y'all didn't know, Matthew Stafford, Clayton Kershaw, best friends since middle school. Went to the same high school here, Highland Park here in Dallas. And just because of them being in sports and me covering sports, we've come to know each other and you know, other people here in the, not exclusively me, obviously, but other sports related guys here in the area. I've kind of come to know them. They're both great guys, but I'm pulling for Clayton in his last hurrah. Let's get into some of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers injuries. I did a screenshot of it yesterday and put it on the screen for JP. I thought about doing that again today. However, or as my sainted father, Eddie Joe Ham, said back in the day before his untimely demise, he's an East Texas boy with the East Texas accent, and he couldn't pronounce words properly. He would say, however, for some reason, instead of however, it was, however, Timmy, you suck. I heard a lot of that. Yeah, it won't fit on the screen. Like, even if I shrink my screen, I do the zoom out thing to like 75%, it still doesn't fit on the screen. So I can't do it all together, and I'm not going to do multiple pages of it here. But let's get into some Buccaneers injury, as we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Buccaneers players on the injury report from Thursday. And I don't know why we wouldn't have at least that many on the injury report for Friday when that comes out. Of course, there's no game designations yet. They do that on Friday. Sometimes they wait. But here are your injured Buccaneers. Linebacker Levante David has been limited all week with a knee. Jamel Dean has not practiced all week with that hip. Mike Evans, of course, hamstring, hasn't practiced all week. Greg Gaines, dealing with a pectoral. He did not practice Wednesday. He had a full practice yesterday, which is good news. Chris Godwin, full practice all week coming back from his ankle. Logan Hall, dealing with the groin. He was limited on Wednesday, full practice on Thursday. Charlie Heck, our offensive line savior, just kidding, of course, dealing with his knee. He's been a full practice all week. Bucky Irving has not practiced all week, dealing with a foot and a shoulder. Christian Izzy, the safety, dealing with the quad. He has not practiced all week. Baker Mayfield showed up on the injury report yesterday with a right biceps and the knee. He did not practice on Wednesday. Yesterday, he was a full practice, which is good news. Zion McCollum dealing with a thumb, full practice all week. Benjamin Morrison, hamstring, hasn't practiced, probably won't play. Hassan Reddick with a neck, was limited on Wednesday, was a full practice participant on Thursday. Sterling Shepard with a foot, missed practice on Wednesday, was a full practice participant on Thursday. Tyke Smith, ankle, did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited on Thursday. And finally, Tristan Wirfs with his knee. He was limited on Wednesday, full practice participant on Thursday. Good God, that's like a whole show just going down the injury report for the Bucs. Conversely, the Seattle Sea Chickens have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 6 players. And maybe just a couple of those are contributors. So they're in much better shape injury-wise than the Bucs. Safety Nick Emenwari dealing with an ankle. He's practiced all week. He'll be good to go, no doubt. Josh James, the offensive tackle, has been out all week with an ankle. DeMarcus Lawrence, former Dallas Cowboys great, is dealing with a quad. He has been out of practice all week. Julian Love, the safety, has not practiced all week with a hamstring. Cody White, wide receiver, has been a full participant all week with a shoulder. And cornerback Devin Witherspoon with a knee has been out all week. So you got some guys that probably will not contribute for the Seattle Sea Chickens on Sunday. But if you look at it overall, JP did a Buccaneers Blitz previewing this. And as the editor, sometimes I get to come up with these catchy titles. And it's going to be a game of injuries. If you go back and watch that on his YouTube channel or fanstreamsports.com. JP, by the way, JP's doing the Buccaneers Blitz now. He's taking that over from me at my insistence because I feel it's better coming from him, obviously. And he's also launching the Florida Gators Blitz for all of you Gators fans. JP's doing those on the YouTube channel and as a audio podcast over at fanstreamsports.com or wherever you get your podcasts. So go check out JP. He's doing those I'm trying to get him to do twice a week. It's a lot of work trying to get JP to do something twice a week. I'm not going to lie. But those are available to you boys and girls whenever you want those. So, as far as the game on Sunday, look, I said it yesterday. If all things were equal, if injuries were not an issue for either team, full rosters, full health, I think the Buccaneers go into Seattle and win by 2 touchdowns, maybe more. I like the Seahawks. I like what Mike Macdonald is building there. I don't know that Sam Darnold has taken command of the offense like maybe we thought he would through a month. Doesn't mean he won't. I don't think he's there yet. I think the offense is struggling just a little bit. The defense is definitely coming on. Mike Macdonald, of course, the former DC in Baltimore and other places. He's a great defensive mind, and he's got his defense humming right now. So things not being equal injury-wise, what are my thoughts? Man, this is, I think it's going to be a much closer game than it probably should be. I think JP's worried about the Sea Chickens. Look, I'm calling for a Bucs win, but it might be one of these pulling it out near the end or pulling away late in the game situations. You know, like maybe, say, entering the fourth quarter, it's like a 21-20 game, one way or the other. And, I think the Bucs maybe score late in the fourth to take the lead or extend it or whatever to put it out of reach. Hopefully, that's the way I'm seeing things. That's how I think it might go. What are y'all's thoughts? Yeah, you guys make sure you fill in here in the comments section what you think as far as your prediction for the Bucs Sea Chickens on Sunday. Back to comments. Douglas Batista paid attendance for the first 2 Guardians wildcard games with 26,000, stadium seats 35, but no tweet from Toucan. Yeah. How about that? You know why? Because they changed their name from the Indians. They've got 0 local support up there because of that. I won't say 0. I mean, they're still fans, obviously. But we changed the long-time name. They saw the same thing in Washington. I don't think you get as much with, college programs. But, yeah, man, I know people in Ohio and in Cleveland that just absolutely hate it. And they still wear, if you watch the game on TV, a lot of them still wear their Indians garb to the game. The hats, Chief Wahoo. I don't want to get into the political thing about why they changed it, but none of that's political. Don't make any mistakes about it. None of that was political. I know they were getting pressure, allegedly, from certain interest groups out there. That's what they said about the Commandos, too. But, I refuse to believe any of that was political. Thomas Casper, Jerry Jones versus Bad Bunny. I'm guessing that is a reference to Bad Bunny being named the Super Bowl halftime show out in Santa Clara next year. in February. My thoughts on Bad Bunny. I will readily admit I had no freaking idea who Bad Bunny was, nor had ever heard of him. I've never heard any of his. Is it music? Again, I don't know. I'm not bashing the guy because I never heard of him until Happy Gilmore 2. Great flick. Y'all go check it out. So he plays the caddy in Happy Gilmore 2, and I thought he was funny in that. I thought he did a great job. And it was like several days after I realized or found out that the actor's name, call him an actor because that's what I thought at the time, was Bad Bunny, that he was a musician or a rapper. I don't know what it is. Is he a rappist? Does he do R&B? I don't even know what kind of music he is, to be honest with you guys. I just rarely get excited about a halftime show for the Super Bowl these days. I can't remember the last time I watched one. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care who plays the Super Bowl. I'm probably not going to watch it anyway. But it's fun to talk about for sure. JS, did the homeless guy buy you dinner before you spooned him? So I was the little spoon. And yes, he should have bought me dinner, by the way, right? I feel like he should have bought me dinner, but no. As that story goes, I'll just summarize it. I was at Millennial Mardi Gras 1999 with my girlfriend and a roommate, or an ex-roommate, but still a good friend of ours. And we literally drove down to New Orleans at the last minute, rented a minivan because that's all we could get. We didn't have a hotel, so we lived in the minivan in a extended stay parking off of Canal Street. Brushed our teeth with bottled water. Would have to find ways to shower. Of course, for Christina, my girlfriend at the time, well, kind of girlfriend. We weren't really girlfriend, boyfriend yet. She would just go find a guy in a bar with a hotel room and go home with him and take a shower. So she was dirty and clean all at the same time. But, me and Ryan didn't necessarily have that opportunity every night, trying to meet chicks in the West End, in the French Quarter. But, we just sort of bathed in the minivan. But no, I got separated from them and got really drunk. And for those of you that have been there, the bars don't close. They stay open. They close for an hour, like between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. to run their books and to clean up and restock things. And then they're right back open. So in that little hour I had left the bar, I was just walking around aimlessly, just hammered. And I don't remember the situation. I don't remember this guy. I don't remember talking or me. I think I just went and laid down because I was drunk and about to pass out in a little alleyway there off of Royal Street. He probably saw me and thought I looked pretty and came and look, we were fully clothed. I didn't have anything missing. But I was the little spoon. So I woke up and realized that and sobered up a little bit quicker maybe than normal. But no, don't remember dinner. John Hill, October 3rd, sports history includes the American Professional Football Association playing its first full round of games in 1920. You are absolutely correct. Which later, of course, became the National Football League. JS, I thought the initial thumbnail looked Seahawks related. Okay, I don't remember what the initial thumbnail was. I'll be real honest with you. I was drinking last night when I made the show. I thought I was always the JP pirate picture, but maybe not. Or the picture of me. But there's no telling, JS. My apologies. I'm not trying to jinx the Bucs. Everybody knows I love the Bucs. I might love the Bucs more than I love the Cowboys at this point. I'm not going to lie. Bucs might be my favorite team. By the way, I have been questioned a lot here in the studio as I do a Bucs show, a Tampa Bay show 4 days a week out of here. I have to share with you guys, I've gotten some crap because of my Cowboys related stuff, right? There's my Rangers, there's my Cowboys on the other wall over there with my TVs. There's the door. And look, I know I get crap for the Saints. Sorry, that's where I'm from. My Quebec Nordiques throwback vintage delivered this weekend will be a Tampa Bay Buccaneers flag that I will hang behind me right here for every Buccaneers show that I'm on. It'll be right here in this corner. And it's the throwback. It's the creamsicle Buccaneers because that's what I like. So starting on Tuesday when I'm back on, or maybe Monday if Nick can't do the show, you guys will see right behind me every show a Buccaneers creamsicle flag. So how do you like that? No more crap from you Tampa peeps, from you Petermans out there. John Hill, last night preseason Bolt hockey game with the Dirty Panthers was a fight fest. At one time, 7 Bolt skaters were in the penalty box. Panthers did a blind headshot on Hagel again. He left the game. Good God. I did not read about Hagel. I did read a recap of the game. I didn't look at penalty minutes because it's preseason. But I do, I get alerts for the Lightning when they play games on my ESPN app and on my NHL app and on my CBS Sports app. I get alerts, guys, from 3 different apps for the same game for every game that every team I follow, because I don't want to miss anything. But I did not delve too deep into the the Lightning preseason game with the Panthers. So I didn't see any of that. I'll see what I can find out about how our Hagee's doing there. John Hill, Dodgers have 4 MVPs in the lineup. Yes, they do. They're a really, really good team. And I normally don't like teams that move, even when it was in the late 50s, which is odd because even my Dallas Stars are a team that moved, technically, from Minnesota back in the day. And I support them, of course. Tim, your thoughts from William Madden. Good morning to you, sir. Tim, your thoughts on Bad Bunny's halftime show of the Super Bowl. I hope that you heard what I just said earlier. I'm sure you did. Looks like you've been on a while. Some are saying games should be boycotted. Now, this is the political thing because of his stance on, like, ICE, right? I guess that's where you're going with this. Look, here's my thoughts on that without getting too political. So Bad Bunny, I have heard, again, I don't know because I'm not real familiar with him. I realize he's, I guess, Puerto Rican, so he's an American citizen because of where he's from, right? So great. But I guess the majority of his listenership are Hispanic. By the way, you guys, does he sing in Spanish? Does he do, like, Spanish stuff? Like, I don't know. So y'all let me know what his music is, what he does. So he, I guess, refused to play anywhere in the United States because he's afraid that ICE will raid his shows and pick up all the illegals watching the show. I guess that's a valid concern if that's who your fan base is. So now a lot of people are saying that the same thing is going to happen at the Super Bowl. While he's playing a show, ICE will be present. And I think even our government has said ICE will be present at the Super Bowl. Now, here's my thoughts on that. I don't believe any of that. I don't think ICE is going to beat the Super Bowl any more than they might have already been, regardless of who's playing. But because of all this controversy and people saying that he's playing the Super Bowl, I feel like the government had to get in there and go, look, hey, yeah, well, then we're just going to say this. But look, guys, the average ticket price, I think, for the Super Bowl in February in Santa Clara is like $13,000. Are you going to tell me there is going to be a large contingent, and nothing against this sector of people, are you going to tell me there's going to be a large contingent of illegal aliens at the Super Bowl buying a ticket and watching the game? I can't see that happening. So I don't think that's ICE's target demographic is people going to the Super Bowl. I could be wrong. That's just my thoughts on all of that. It is what it is. JS, let the big dumper get a ring and F the Dodgers. All right. You know what's going to happen is the Dodgers and Mariners might play in the World Series, and I'm going to be screwed. I think in that situation, I'm probably pulling for the Dodgers. Sorry, JS. But maybe. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel till we get there. The Rays aren't in it. The Rangers aren't in it. All I know is that I wanted the Yankees to not be in it and the Red Sox to not be in it. Unfortunately, one had to eliminate the other, so now we got to wait for the other one to get eliminated. David Terry, good morning to you. The Braves started the war chant in 1991 and Chiefs in 1990, so they stole it from the Seminoles. Oh, wow, okay. Well, I didn't think the Chiefs started it, but I thought they started it later than that, but I will believe you, David Terry. JS, Charlie is injured. What the heck? There you go, JS. I know that's what you were fighting for there. Also from JS, tough to get 2 losses in a row, but not a great matchup for the Bucs given the injuries. I agree 100% that this is not a great matchup for the Bucs or anybody. There's nobody that's a good matchup for the Bucs. The Seahawks practice squad probably is not a good matchup for the Buccaneers right now. My 8th grade middle school football team might not be a good matchup for the Bucs. From, let's see, 1982. And I'm talking about everybody that was on my middle school 1982 football team today. And we're all 54 years old now. I don't know that we would be a good matchup for the Bucs right now with all of the injuries that they've got. Let's take our first break of the show. JP's going to be pissed because, number one, I'm late by 5 minutes. And number two, I don't have any live reads in front of me. So he's going to be really mad. So let's just thank verbally here all of the sponsors. Of course, we will thank, let's see if I can put them all on the screen for everybody. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, don'tgouncovered.com, Genesis of Tampa, the Golden Diamond Source at goldendiamond.com, Italiano Insurance, Jeeves Law Group, Kingmakers of Tampa, where JP's glorious studio is over there, On-Site Construction, Cafe Paradiso, my favorite restaurant when I'm in Tampa, Riveters, my other favorite restaurant when I'm in, we'll say Riveters is my favorite bar, Paradiso is my favorite upscale restaurant. I'll word it that way so I don't piss anybody off. And, of course, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. I am Nick Gartem. This is the JP Peterson Show. Back after this.
Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports, Monday through Friday, 10 to noon Eastern Time at fanstreamsports.com. The FanStream Sports Tampa Bay YouTube channel, and later wherever you get your podcasts. How many of you guys listen to the recorded podcast in addition to watching the live show? I would love to hear. I think JP undersells the recorded podcast, but we do. Yeah, we publish JP's show, every one of JP's shows, usually about an hour, maybe two after the live show goes silent. It goes out across all the podcast platforms, as well as at fanstreamsports.com. Have you guys checked out our new website? Everybody make sure you check out our new website. We spent a lot of money on that, and I spent a lot of time on that, by the way. Pulling the curtain back. I need everybody to utilize it and to like it and love it and share it and click on it. Just do it, guys. Come on. Let's see. Back to some comments here before we get into some big O content. John Hill, every quarterback to start more than one game for Oklahoma from 2015 to 2013 is starting in the NFL currently. Does this make OU the current quarterback university? Well, John Hill, I will go one further, because every starting quarterback from Oklahoma from 2015 to 2023 aren't just starting quarterbacks in the NFL. They will be starting this weekend. Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams, and Dylan Gabriel. I think we all forget, at least I do, that Caleb Williams was even at Oklahoma, that Dylan Gabriel was at Oklahoma. But yeah, that's quite a stat, man. I saw you sent that to me this morning. Sorry, I was busy. I could not reply. But yes, that's an incredible stat for OU, especially considering you've got some really, I won't say crappy, but I'll say some questionable coaching there since then, in that time, from 2015 to 2023, for sure. Some questionable coaching. Got some questionable coaching there now, although it's working out well with John Mateer. By the way, John Mateer from right here in my backyard, Little Elm, Texas, Little Elm High School. Like John a lot. Michael LaRue, the Florida Panthers were taking cheap shots at Brendan Hagel again. He left the game with an undisclosed injury. There were 49 penalties and 186 penalty minutes last night. That's what I call a preseason hockey game right there. We'll think the good thought for Brendan Hagel. And I'll see if maybe on the next break. I can't find something on his injury, although they're not going to disclose anything in the regular season, much less the preseason. But if you guys find something, for sure, bring it to the attention here. JS, just joking about the Jinx. Love you. I love you too, JS. I know you were joking. It's all good. William Madden, Jason Whitlock saying he is pro-gay. Does that mean he's gay, or he's just pro-gay? Does that mean he wants to be gay? What does that mean if you're pro-gay? Seems like a weird statement for someone to make. Like, if I get, like, if you support that lifestyle, you can support it without being pro. And to me, that makes it sound like you want to be that. I don't know. It's just a weird way to say it if that was his actual quote. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying. Michael LaRue, reports are Bucky Irving will miss this week and probably next week too. Rashad White and Sean Tucker will have to carry the load. Yes, I believe that will be correct. And this is exactly why you did not trade Rashad White in the offseason, because you need a deep running back room. We talked about it. The punishment that Bucky Irving took last year and the punishment he's taking this year, you got to have some depth, and you got to have good depth. I don't know that Sean Tucker could be the number 2 here. but I think he certainly fits in as is maybe one of the best number 3s in the league. And you're about to find out how valuable Sean Tucker is and how valuable Rachaad White is coming up in this couple of games here for sure. John Hill, Tim, do you remember that Ike Harris, number 82, as the wide receiver playing for the Saints, 82 through 78 through 81? I don't recall him specifically. That was the Archie Manning days, my favorite NFL quarterback of all time, oddly enough. Okay. I mean, Whitlock saying Bad Bunny is pro-gay. Okay. Well, I mean, either way, it's weird. If you're pro-gay, it makes it, I mean, if that's how he's wording it, it makes it sound like you want to be gay. I mean, that's a decision you can make, right? I don't know how that works. But hey, whatever. More power to him. Are we going to boycott Bad Bunny because he's pro-gay? I mean, seems like a weird stance, but I mean, y'all do y'all for whoever that applies to. How do you think the Cowboys will do against the Jets? JS says. JS wants me to interject some Cowboys talk in the JP Peterson Show. Don't do a lot of this. I will tell you, JS, what I think the Cowboys will do against the Jets. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I know the Cowboys defense sucks. That goes without saying. That's been on display in 4 games this year. With a 1-2-1 record for Dallas right now. That kiss your sister tie against the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I've got Dallas with one of the best offenses in the league. They're top offense based in yards gained, and I believe they're number 3 in scoring. So the Jets have absolutely nothing on defense. Sauce Gardner's hurt. Anybody that's anybody on their team that matters is injured and not playing well. So yeah, I've got, including, by the way, Justin Fields is not back 100% yet. But yeah, no, give me Dallas 37, New York Jets 13. That's how I think that game's going to go. I could be wrong. Michael LaRue, you have to speak Spanish to understand Bad Bunny's music because he only sings in Spanish. Doesn't have any English. Okay, see, that tells me a lot that I need to know. I was not aware of that. Makes me question why that was the best fit for a Super Bowl show. I know they've had Hispanic singing artists before, right? Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, but don't they also sing in English? Like, I think they sing English songs, right? I mean, I know they do. So is Bad Bunny going to sing in English for the Super Bowl? I mean, I don't know. JS, I listen to the pod when I can't catch y'all. Thank you, JS. I appreciate that very, very much. Wherever you listen to it, I don't care. We appreciate you very much. Douglas Batista, when I cannot attend a live show due to work commitments, I always listen to the recording. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. See, that's all we need to know. James Rex wrote, yes, of course, when we miss a live show, that's how we get caught up. That is great. I love to hear that. We work hard on that side of the show. Well, I do. JP doesn't do anything. I like when JP's not here. We can just kind of throw him another bus from time to time. It's what we do. Hey, it's substitute teacher day. I didn't describe it as that off the top of the show, but anytime JP's gone, it's substitute teacher day. We just have fun with stuff, right? By the way, we're awaiting the arrival of Tito at 11 o'clock to talk fantasy football. Get your fantasy football questions ready for your lineups, for your rosters, who to sit, who to start, your waiver wire questions. Tito is an absolute beast when it comes to fantasy football, as he will tell you. Obviously, as the co-host of Fantasy Football Island right here on FanStream Sports from the Ohio FanStream Sports YouTube channel, and then, of course, at fanstreamsports.com. I usually post that to all 3 of the sections, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and the Ohio region. So everybody has access to that. But Tito has been playing fantasy football every single year since, I think he said 1980, which even predates me because I didn't start playing fantasy football until about 1986. He will tell you his very first fantasy football draft selection was Brian Sipe. So there you go. And yes, boys, younger boys and girls, we did have fantasy football before the internet. It was a lot more complicated and a lot more legwork involved. But I will tell you that it was maybe more fun because of all of that. Couldn't have your laptops out. There was no auto draft. You literally had to rank the players on your own, figure out your draft strategy on your own. To me, it was a lot more fun. I haven't played since probably 2017, 2018. I don't have time for it anymore. I just kind of got over it. But I do enjoy fantasy football talk. I won't lie. John Hill, your thoughts on the Nevada, is that South Carolina? Unanimously rejecting the NFL's petition to rehear its decision granting John Gruden discovering the lawsuit against Roger. I have not followed that, John Hill, to be quite honest with you, admittedly. I will read something about, because I love John Gruden. I still want him to be coach of the Cowboys. Nothing against Brian Schottenheimer, but I have not seen that. So my apologies. I cannot speak intelligently on that. I probably could have stopped that sentence with after intelligently, and it would apply to just about everything. John Hill, yesterday, October 2nd, was the 60th birthday of Gatorade, the sports drink by University of Florida. Yes, it was. And where would we be without Gatorade? My vodka would not be the same without Gatorade. I've been putting Gatorade in my vodka drinks since I've been drinking vodka, like since the late 80s. Like now, I prefer, from time to time, I'll mix it up with some Red Bull. But man, Gatorade has been my vodka mixer ever since I can remember. So, big fan. But look, I don't need all the extra Gatorade flavors. There should be one flavor of Gatorade, and it should be the original, the lemon lime. That's all I need. That's all I've ever had. That's all I will ever have. I don't need any of these tricked up ice burst, mountain breeze, cock-a-doodle-doo, whatever the hell they're all. I don't need any of that. I just need my green, yellow, whatever color you think it is to your eyes. That's all I've ever had. That's all I will ever have. That's all I need. So, I love it in my vodka. Douglas Batista, Tim, surprised to see Bruce Bochy out as Rangers manager 2 years removed from World Series win. What happened? Well, Douglas's contract was up. Signed a 3-year deal here. Won a World Series in his first year and missed the playoffs the final 2 years as the team dealt with, Bucs fans know, just injury after injury after injury after injury. He is 70 years old now, and this team is not a development team per se, but there are a lot of young players on the Rangers roster that need further development to get to where they need to be, and that is not what Bruce Bochy excels at. Bruce Bochy excels at having a finished roster and getting them to the next step, which is exactly what he did in 2023 with the Rangers. If you've got young guys on your major league roster that are still developing, that still need development like the Rangers do with Wyatt Langford, with Josh Young, Evan Carter, Bruce Bochy is not the guy to do that, and we've seen that in the last 2 years. He didn't want to do it. The team didn't want him to do it. So, yes, it was a call to mutual parting of the ways, which I think it was. A lot of times when you hear that, it's BS, but I think in this situation it's probably more accurate than others. Not to mention the fact that the Rangers have Skip Schumacher waiting in the front office to take the Rangers' job. Although they are doing what they call a full search for the next Rangers manager, I think Skip Schumacher is your guy, and I think timing on this is perfect because there's other managerial jobs out there that he would be interested in, if not for the Rangers. And I'm talking about the San Francisco Giants. As I always say it on my other show. But I think Schumacher is your guy in Texas. He's 45 years old. He is a developmental guy. He might be the best guy available for this job. But was I surprised to see him out? No, not at all. I put about a 70% chance about halfway through the season when I saw the way the season was going that this would be his final year and he would not want nor sign a contract extension here in Texas. They have offered Bruce Bochy a front office job to be a consultant just to keep him in the building, which I think is a great idea. It's one of those honorary things. You know, you go ask him questions and take his opinion on stuff. I think he's still valuable as a baseball guy. God, how much baseball does he know? Good grief. 4 World Series, 2,257 career wins as a manager, 2,269 losses, I believe. That's off the top of my head. I know that's very close. I believe he's like 12 games under 500 career as a manager, but Hall of Famer for sure. And that's the way that goes. As we await the arrival of Jeff Tito Thitoff, John Hill, OJS at William. We get the point. Thanks for the daily gay report. Never thought we'd have that on one of my shows. We should make, you know what we need to do? We need to make that a regular segment. We'll just inform JP on Tuesday when I'm here. JP, we've got a new segment for the show. It's listener driven. It is the Daily Gay Report, sponsored by William, where he just lets us know what's going on in the gay world. Is that a thing? The gay world? I don't know. Again, that's great if that's what you do, but sometimes we're not privy to that in the non-gay world. So maybe we should be updated on stuff like that. I think that would be great. John says Tito needs to appear on Thursday morning since there's Thursday night football in mind. Yeah, I get it. If I booked the guests, I'd probably have him on Wednesday, maybe Thursday, because things change between Wednesday and Thursday for sure. Maybe we'll start doing that, John. Look, I'm writing this down. Tito, Thursday mornings, permanent segment. There you go. Is fantasy football with Tito. I'm not even going to ask JP. I'm just going to tell him. Say, hey, we've got Tito booked Thursday morning, 11 o'clock. Probably do 11:30 towards the end of the show. JS Tim, going to have try vodka and Gatorade this weekend. Great recommendation. Dude, I'm telling you. It's great. And I'm a big vodka Red Bull fan. The original Red Bull, don't give me any of this sugar-free BS, and don't give me, I guess now they have the zero, which I don't know how that's different than sugar-free. They've got the flavor, different color. Don't give me any of that stuff. I want the original Red Bull with my vodka. And by the way, if you are a fan of expensive vodka, you don't need that to mix it with Gatorade or Red Bull because you're not tasting it anyway. Just go get your, well, maybe not the absolute cheapest. Like, don't buy a $4 bottle, 750 milliliter bottle of vodka. You'll probably get sick and die. But, you're 15, 20 Tito's, whatever. Go get you, speaking of Tito, go get you some Tito's. I don't know if that's big in Florida like it is here in Texas. Sky. We have Tom's Town here in the studio because they're a sponsor of the show, of our show here and our golf show. Tom's Town, it's a micro distillery out of Kansas City, Missouri. Up until last year, they were the official distilling company of the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know why I just said it that way, but I did. So yeah, just get you some vodka, get you some Gatorade. Let me know how that works out for you, JS. Yellow, definitely the best great Gatorade flavor. 100%. Shouldn't be any more of that. We just don't need other extra stuff. Jeff Moore, good morning to you. Welcome into the show. 95 was my first fantasy as league manager, and no internet used newspaper box scores to determine winners. As a crazy Bucs fan since 78, as my dad took me to my first draft fantasy, Trent Dilfer. There you go, man. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, those are great stories. I love hearing, people in their first fantasy football experiences, because a lot of it, especially back then, you didn't know a lot of the players around the league. You didn't read about them every day on the internet. You didn't see highlights of them on Sports Center every 30 minutes. You kind of had to dig to get information on these guys. On the rare occasion that you got to see a quarterback play on Sunday, as we would only get 2 games. You had your early window and your late window, and whatever they decided to show in your local area. A lot of times you were screwed. So, yeah, newspaper box scores, that's where you did that, because I used to publish every single box score of every game. Like the newspaper still does. I still get the newspaper, you guys. I'm old school. I don't get it daily like I used to, but I get the Sunday paper, and I will go through box score. That's the first thing I go to is baseball box scores during baseball season. But they did have fantasy football magazines as well. you could subscribe to back in the 80s and the 90s, where they would, come out once a month. And again, it doesn't help you run your team, but it helped you with some familiarity to some of the players and positions and things like that, as it were. So let's take our next break as we wait the arrival of Tito Thitoff from 97.1 The Fan in I almost say Kansas City, in Columbus, Ohio. He'll probably be live from the studio, the Fan Stream Sports studio in Columbus, Ohio. Get your fantasy football questions ready, boys and girls. I'm IndyCar Tim. This is the solo IndyCar Tim JP Peterson Show. We'll be back after this.
The Golden Diamond Source is working every day to be your family jeweler. Right now, a $5,000 engagement ring with 0% interest can be yours for just $83. So don't let the holidays sneak up on you this year. Now is the time to get ahead with their in-store layaway. Trade in your old jewelry for cash. Gold has never been higher. The Golden Diamond Source is offering the highest ever trade-in values for your gold and diamond jewelry. Now is the time to get your holiday shopping started. So come in now, relax, shop, and save at the Golden Diamond Source. We love Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local philanthropists, and you can find them at 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater, where you'll always find the perfect gift, only at the Golden Diamond Source. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCar Tim. JP Peterson is on drunk sports assignment today. Again, Not sure I know where he is or where he's going, but I'm pretty sure it's the Florida State game. I could be wrong, but I think that's where he said. Look, I'll be honest. I listen to about half of what JP tells me because let's just be honest with each other. I am way smarter, way more handsome, way better looking, way more intelligent than JP is, and I know half the time when he's talking, I feel myself getting dumber. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just kidding. Of course, it's stupid. JP is one of the smartest guys I think I've ever met with sports talk and news and opinion and things like that. I wish sometimes I was articulate enough to spout off on the Tampa Bay Rays stadium situation and owner Stu Sternberg for, 28 hours a week. I know that I'm smart enough to do that, boys and girls, Petermans. I'm just not, and that's okay. That's not my forte in life. I'll take it. Well, let's bring in now, as I've been teasing him for an hour, teasing his appearance, and tickling him at the same time, as it is one Tito Jeff Thitoff. Tito, do you have us?
I do have you. Do you have me? That's the question.
We have Tito live from the FanStream Sports Ohio studio, way up there in the Great White North of Columbus.
It's not the Great White North.
It's not. It seemed like it when I was there.
Good Lord, whatever.
Well, it's what, in the center of Ohio, right? It's not southern. That's Cincinnati, right?
Hey, look, some people are like East Coast or some are West Coast, but as far as rap goes, I'm Midwest Coast.
Is there a famous Midwest Coast rapist that you can think of right now?
Bone Thugs and Harmony. How about that?
Never heard of it.
You've ever heard of Bone Thugs and Harmony? Wow, you are so out of. I bet JPP's heard of them.
Probably. He's a little more into the culture of that type of situation than I am, without overstating myself here. Tito, before we get into fantasy football talk, which is why you're here. By the way, boys and girls, this is the legendary Jeff Tito Thitoff of 97.1. The Fan Fame in Columbus, Ohio, apparently the home of the West Coast, Midwest Coast.
Yeah.
Great white rapists,
yes,
such as Tito himself. And for those, now he doesn't just do fantasy football talk for FanStream Sports. Tito is also co-host of Morning Juice on 97.1 The Fan's YouTube channel and HD3 station at 97.1-HD3. His co-host in the mornings, former Ohio State legend and Dallas Cowboys draft pick, Bobby Carpenter, on that show. Everybody loves Bobby. I almost said the name that I'm not supposed to call him.
I understand, yes.
My apologies for that. But I listen to their show just about every morning, because when I get up to take a shower, they're already an hour into it. As you guys are on, what, 6 to 8 Eastern?
6 to 8 a.m. Eastern time. Yes, sir.
All right, so I get up at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock, so I get to listen to the last half hour. Well, yesterday, you guys kind of went off the rails for a minute. And I was able to pull some audio, Tito.
Okay.
Number one, I need you to explain how often this happens. And just I need you to run me through this.
Fluff me more than I need to be fluffed.
I'm just
I
telling.
do like a good fluffing, though, Tito.
I'm telling.
I don't discriminate.
So how often do you fluff Bobby Carpenter?
Carpenter's very good at those subtle, sometimes not subtle things. He says that. Tim, you could have pulled that from any one of probably 30 shows in the last 6 months where he's made some kind of comment like that. A good fluffing. Oh, yeah. I like a fluff. He likes a fluff. I've heard Schlegs likes a fluff. Talk about Anthony Schlegel. AJ Hawk, he's no stranger to a fluff. He'll say all those things all the time. So the fact you pulled it out, that was very good by you. But honestly, there are things. And by the way, the show, and Carp is known as this at the station. A lot of the times things will go sideways. There'll just be something that will happen and we'll go off in a complete tangent. And it will, I put a show sheet together every day, Tim. You know what that's like. I put a show, every night I put a show sheet together.
Professionals. We're professionals.
What we're going to talk about from 6 to 8 a.m. And I break it down by each segment. And at the end of the day, there's probably 2 segments we never got to because somebody saw a squirrel and we went into a completely different area that ends up with a fluff comment or something like that.
Yeah. It's radio, man, especially morning radio, right? You're barely awake.
I will tell you, the last 2 days have been fantastic shows. Not that the other ones weren't, But we do something at the end of each show called What's Got You Juiced. And we just, each of us, he and I and our producer, Brody Wells, we will all say something that got us excited about the day, the night, whatever coming up. The last 2 days, Carp has brought it on What's Got You Juiced. He told a story yesterday about.
I heard yesterday, and it shocked everybody.
Yeah, the Jesse Owens. You see, the thing about Bobby is, and I will tell you, look, he is a very emotional person, both ways, good and bad, whatever, but like when you heard the Jesse Owens thing, he started to get choked up about it.
Yeah.
And you can see it. He did the same thing today, talking about a thing with a former teammate of his was paralyzed, an event he went to, and the same thing. Bobby has to pause and compose himself. Now, great. Look, sometimes he's a meathead. There's no doubt about that. He's also a very intelligent person.
He is.
And this thing, like the last couple of days when it comes to this kind of stuff, like with the stuff, the emotional stuff, like they talked about his dad a lot, who's still, Rob Carpenter, former Houston Oiler, fantastic running back in college and the NFL. But he talked about the experience with him and stuff like that. And it's just, it's, I never know where the show's going to go when it comes to certain things, but I always have a blast doing it.
He's great, man. Y'all so great. Like I said, I get up and that's the first thing I tune on. I turn on before I get in the shower. So, you should feel honored. I'm in the shower scrubbing down this mess naked every morning, listening to y'all talk.
Hey, I'm naked all the time and watching stuff in the shower too. By the way, that's the other awkward thing. I told Bob one day I was in the shower and that one of the YouTube thing that popped up in my feed was a 1979 or 1978 Oilers playoff game with his dad. I said, I was in the shower naked watching your dad play football, just so you know.
Well, there you go. Tito, let's get into something as the great Bobby Knight barked at me in a press conference one day when he didn't like my question. Let's get into something that has some significance, if in fact there is anything.
Okay.
Oh, Coach Knight, what'd you think about maybe you didn't hear what I said. I said, let's talk about something that has some significance, if in fact there is anything. That's my interaction with the great Bobby Knight. So fantasy football, yes. Tito, tons of injuries around the league. This has to be wreaking absolute havoc and chaos with fantasy football rosters across the league. How are people coping with this?
Yeah, it's tough because you can never plan for these kind of injuries. And I just, by the way, posted something in the chat and it showed up 3 times, just so you know. I don't know, 4 times maybe.
Oh, it's because, we got a number of different destinations that you're
okay,
on.
good. I'm glad it all went there. Anyway, it's tough on this. And what's really interesting about the injuries, though, is you have to evaluate specifically, like some people will, for instance, Malik Neighbors goes down with an injury. He's out for the year. Just because the number 1 receiver for the Giants goes out with an injury doesn't mean the number 2 guy is the one you want to pick up.
Jalen Hyatt.
Right. It could be Jalen Hyatt. Look, it might be Jalen Hyatt. It might be Wan'Dale Robinson.
Who hasn't got a pass all year.
It could be any, but I'm saying, like, you don't know which one it is. And so sometimes it's best not even explore that. Right. But then, like with the Miami situation with Tyreek Hill, when his leg looked like a question mark out there, Jalen Waddle is a legit number 1 receiver. That's one you would want. But Jalen Waddle probably got drafted. If you didn't get drafted in your leagues, invite me into your leagues. I'd love to dominate that one. But Jalen Waddle should be on a team already. But you have to look at the situations that way. Same thing with the quarterback thing. I mean, do you really think Cooper Rush is going to do anything at all? I hope you've got a better option than that when you lose Lamar Jackson for a couple of weeks on what happens there. So the injuries they play a big role in it. And that's why when you look at the different stages of what's important in fantasy football, obviously the draft, do all your draft prep work, all those things. But the in-season stuff you do is what's going to be key on that one. And also, what you can do based on injury is also based on where your team's at. If you're 3-1 or 4-0 right now, you can absorb an injury and you can take advantage of a team that's 1-3 or 0-4, take advantage of the injury they suffered. It's like, if I've got, if a guy in my league, I'm 3-1, he's 1-3, he needs a win, and he lost Trey Benson from Arizona, who I love this year. Trey Benson lost him. I might be able to go get Trey Benson on the cheap because he's out for a few weeks, and this guy needs a win. I can buy low on him. It's all about, that's why the start is important. Every year, Tim, before, when the league's going on, like I try to calculate how many wins it takes to get to the playoffs. I don't care where I'm in the playoffs, from seed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. I don't care what my seed is. I want to have the best team of the playoffs start. If that means I get 8 wins, 7 wins in the regular season, whatever it is, it's very mathematical for me. And if I'm 4-0 right now, and it needs 8 wins to get in the playoffs, I'm thinking, okay, I can gamble a little bit if I want to, with trying to put the best team out there weeks 13, 14, and beyond. And so that's where it's always important to make sure if you have a good start, take advantage of it and identify the teams that are desperate in your league and go. And honestly, and I feel bad saying it, but take advantage of them.
Oh, absolutely. And it's such a crapshoot too every year. It's amazing. So I've talked about this on my show, the Colby Sapp Car Timm show over here in Dallas. I don't know that I've discussed this with you, but there's one of the local watering holes that I like to attend, and one of the young bartenders that are there, who shall remain nameless, Emery. Her name's Emery, nameless Emery. So it's her first year playing fantasy football.
Okay.
And she's with a bunch of girls that have never played fantasy football. Mm-hmm. So they all did bits with their team. Like a lot of people do bits when they draft, right? If they're not taking it seriously.
I'm so glad you said bits. I want to make sure you didn't say something else. Go ahead.
With a B. Bits with a B. I think they drafted with the other stuff, but
okay.
So she drafted her entire team, Tito, based on guys she thought would roofie her in a bar.
That's fantastic.
Like, it is one of the greatest. And I'm like, okay, like, I love it. But then, like, how do you know? Like, she knows none of the players. She doesn't, other than like Travis Kelce, of course.
Yeah, of course, Travis Kelce. Yeah.
Who, by the way, would 100% roofie her in a bar. I'm convinced, by the way. But not on her team. But then she's got like a really good line. Well, again, I'm not the analyst that you are for fantasy football. But like, she's got like Jalen Hurts. She's got Saquon Barkley. I'm just going off the top of my head from reviewing with her every week. But she's got what you would think is a decent team. And I'm kind of helping her with when somebody gets injured. You know, she doesn't follow that. So I'll text her, hey, so-and-so got injured. Get you a new kicker or whatever. So, but dude, she's like 0-4. And she doesn't even care because she's having so much fun picking guys who she thought would roofie her in a bar. So what I'm saying is, like, don't take fantasy football so seriously all the time, you idiots out there who do that. And if that's your thing, great. I'm not talking to you, Tito.
I was going to say, because I take it
for work.
I do it for work. And look, I've been doing it since 1980. Okay.
I told the story. The first draft pick you ever had was Brian Sipe.
Brian Sipe. Yeah, 1980, the first draft I ever did back in the third grade. And that set me up for these future failures in my life. But you're right. There's certain draft, like leagues like that. Know ahead of time, you establish it. It's going to be fun.
Great, man. That was like one of the greatest bits I've ever heard for a team. And literally, as I'm going down I wish I had it in front of me. When I'm going down her roster, I'm like, oh yeah, he would. Yep, he would. Yeah. Oh, certainly he would.
Yeah, right. That's fantastic. I love that kind of theme to it. Also, yeah, that's great.
I know you addressed it in the chat here. Let's get to Douglas Batista's question. I have the Patriots defense playing Bills this weekend. Bad matchup available. Browns, Jags, Giants, Saints. Who would you pick up this week? I know you said if Garrett's playing, which I believe he is, you go with the Browns for sure.
Looking at what the Steelers were able to do to the Vikings last week, as far as they had, I think, 6 or 7 sacks, couple of picks. They really made it tough on the Vikings. I think I could see the same thing happening this week as long as he's out there playing. So I think that the Vikings are going to struggle against the Browns defense. It'll be a low scoring game. Vikings will probably win. It's a 3.5 point spread. So I think the Browns might cover that damn hook, but the Vikings are what I go with. And if something happens and they decide Myles Garrett's not playing last minute, then I would take the Giants, who are taking on the Saints. That'd be the next one I would take, is Giants over the Saints. Giants defense.
Let's talk quarterbacks, Tito. I've had some questions thrown at me. Starts Justin Fields, Jets versus Cowboys. We've got Jared Goff at the Bengals, Dak Prescott at the Jets. What are your thoughts on these games and who might stand out quarterback wise, even if it's different than who I mentioned?
That's fine. No, but like Dak though is a guy that I targeted this year. I went through a lot of
him all season.
Yeah. I targeted Dak Prescott, and I also then would later on target George Pickens. And on top of that, if I waited on a tight end, I targeted Jake Ferguson. Now, it's worked out pretty well so far. Ferguson now is getting a ton. I don't think Ferguson's volume is going to change that much when CeeDee Lamb comes back either. So as far as like the one I feel most confident in, it'd be Dak. I think Justin Fields has a high ceiling because we know Dallas's defense is awful. And look, Justin Fields is kind of getting a bad rap because of the way they're playing it, but he's still a good quarterback. They're losing games, but it's not really because of Fields. There's been a couple of bad plays Fields has made, but still, he's a threat with his legs. So, like, if I had to rank them as far as where I'd start, I would start Dak, then Justin, and then what was the last one? Was it the last one?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Jared Goff would be third for me. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. How about running backs here? I'm getting some traction on Panthers running back Rico Dowdle against the Dolphins, and I don't know that I would ever pick Rico Dowdle for anything, but Chuba Hubbard, I guess, is dealing with the calf.
He's not going to play. Yep.
Yeah. Thoughts on Dowdle against the Dolphins?
So Rico Dowdle, look, and all you need to know about him is that if his parents play fantasy football, they're not picking him up either. It's not a good idea to pick up Rico Dowdle. That Panthers offensive line is still very suspect. And, Dowdle, I think he's got talent, but he's not going to show this week. That's the guy I'm staying away from. In the Arizona situation, when you're looking at what they're look at their running backs as well, you want to try to, when it comes to guys who get hurt, you want to try to sometimes throw darts at people, take some lottery ticket chances just to see if it works. A guy that you should be getting, though, I'll give you two guys that one of them's at least probably already gone in your league, but Woody Marks for the Texans, he's going to be the guy there, I think. I don't know. I'm not confident when Joe Mixon or if he will come back this season. And Nick Chubb looks like a guy who's 30 years old, has had major knee surgery. That's how he looks now.
Yeah.
And so because that, Woody Marks is the guy there. I do like Henry Miller in New Orleans as a backup to Alvin Kamara. I know the Saints are going nowhere. Kamara doesn't look the same. And I think they're going to try to give more play to Miller. Miller's going to be a guy who I went out and grabbed just to see what would happen. I think you can end up being somebody who the rest of the season gets more touches in that backfield than anybody else.
And then looking at other potential running backs, as my internet becomes like it belongs in. How about Cam Scatterbo at Saints, Breece Hall against the Cowboys, and David Montgomery at the Bengals? Who do you like out of them?
I like Breece Hall, probably the least of the three, I'm guessing. Cam Scatterbo, look, I didn't like him before the season started, but now what I've seen from him, he's going to get a lot of volume. With Tyrone Tracy being out now, he is certainly going to be one who gets a lot of carries there, a lot of touches in that Giants offense. The only thing that could hurt him is the fact they have the design runs for Jackson Dart. And which is something the Giants, by the way, you've got to tap the brakes on that. I know it's been working, but just odds are he'll get hurt if you keep running it like that. I understand you want to utilize Jackson Dart's legs and what he can do running the ball, and you should do that, but you got to be careful, especially with Cam back there. And Scatterbo, by the way, is a threat as a receiver as well. He's shown that also. I like that quite a bit for him. David Montgomery is somebody who will always be better in fantasy than he probably is as far as statistically in the NFL because he'll vulture some touchdowns. I think he'll probably score 2 this week. I like Dave Montgomery, probably the best among the three. And plus going against the Bengals. Look, this Bengals team, it's pathetic how bad it's gotten there and how much they don't seem to care to change it. I used to always rip the Browns, Tim, because they wasted Hall of Famer Joe Thomas's career. They're wasting Myles Garrett every single year going forward right now, at least in the last few years. And guys have short shelf lives in the NFL. We know that. Right now, they are wasting Chase Brown. Chase Brown's been bad this year. He's having 33 yards a game after averaging 78 yards a game in his last, 8 starts last year.
That offensive line is horrible, though.
Offensive line's bad, and you're wasting Chase. You're wasting T. Higgins. You're wasting Jamar Chase, and it's a lost season for the Bengals. If they're not going to go out and get a quarterback, I'm not sure who they would get. I don't think they want to go pay somebody else. Jake Brown is going to be the guy there. He looks awful. Awful. He's thrown like 265 yards, I think, total in the last 2 weeks combined, which used to be like what you call a Joe Burrow half last year.
Right. And he's thrown 114 interceptions to 2 touchdowns.
One of them got called back. 113 was numbers right now. Let's make sure we get it right on I don't want to throw out wrong facts.
Especially for Jake Browning. Wide receivers, Tito, Xavier Worthy at the Jags, Nico Collins at the Ravens, Quentin Johnson at versus Commanders, and then Jacoby Myers at the Colts. What are your thoughts on wide receivers this week?
Quentin Johnson, I like him quite a bit, and it's amazing how long it's taken him to get to where he's at, but he was a guy who coming out into the draft, it was like a highly sought after wide receiver, and he did nothing until just recently. He finally looks good there, but I like Nico Collins a little more than him. Nico Collins is probably the one to go with. Nico Collins got the volume. CJ Stroud's been vastly inconsistent. Vastly. I don't know if vastly inconsistent is the right way to put it. I kind of get caught in my words there. Like Michael Scott, sometimes I'll start to say something, realize it's dumb, but keep going with it.
By the way, worst television character of all time.
Michael Scott?
Your Michael Scott reference. That show was unwatchable because of him.
Oh, God. No wonder you don't get good ratings.
I started watching it when he left the show, and it was great.
That was when it got bad. But okay, I'm not gonna put our business out on the street right now. But anyway, the Nico Collins thing, though, CJ Stroud, with how bad he's been this year, inconsistent. But I'll tell you this, though. Here you go. Here's for your little friend there who does the weird fantasy stuff.
Yep.
It's CJ Stroud's birthday today. Yep. So it's his first game after his birthday. Could be a really good week for CJ Stroud based on that. My other fantasy superstitions, by the way, just so you know. Thanksgiving games break ties. If I've got two players, I'm like, this guy or this guy I'm going to draft or I'm going to start. And it's like these guys are exactly the same. If one of them plays on Thanksgiving, the other one doesn't, I take the guy who's playing on Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do.
Wow. Where did you come up with that?
Just because when I was younger and there were the 3 games on or 2 games on back then on Thanksgiving, I loved watching the NFL on Thanksgiving. Yep. And it turned into something where I think Eddie Payton one time back in 1977 ran back a kick in overtime to win the Thanksgiving game for the Bears. I remember the snow game in Dallas there. And it's just Thanksgiving games. Yes, stand out to
sleet,
me.
By the way, it wasn't snow, it was sleet.
There was snow in Dallas.
Nope. In 1994, that was 100% sleet. There was
You're telling me the white stuff I saw on the field was sleet?
That was all sleet. There was no snow. I was in Dallas that day traveling. There was 0 snow. It was all sleet.
You can't have that much sleet.
We had like 3 inches of sleet. It was 0 snow.
Okay, I feel like Ashton's going to come through the door and tell me I'm getting punked because I can't believe that it was all sleet. I cannot believe that was. It's known as the Thanksgiving snow game.
No, it's the Thanksgiving game. But here in Dallas, we know it was sleet. Trust me, I was here. I was traveling that day. It was on Thanksgiving.
Okay,
it was all. So we get that a lot though here in the Dallas area. We get 2-3 inches of sleet at a time during storms. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Did you happen to see the tweet by Draymond Green about LeBron James?
Oh my God, did he bash LeBron James?
He put 2 pictures up of LeBron in. Looks like a high school dance picture.
I've got to find this.
With a white woman.
Oh.
And it says, see, even the king plays in the snow.
Wow.
How about Draymond?
I love Draymond Green.
That was pretty good.
Now I do. But
sounds
like we both have a hatred of LeBron and we can share.
Or you both like playing in the snow.
We both like playing in the snow. And then finally, to wrap things up here in fantasy before we go completely off the rails, Sam Laporta at tight end versus the Bengals. We've got Juwan Johnson versus the Giants, or Zach Ertz at the Chargers, or someone else.
No, you know what? Juwan Johnson was very well known for getting a lot of targets early on. He's fallen off a little bit there. I like Laporta against the Bengals. This Bengals defense is terrible. And I think that Laporta does get some play as well. By the way, now that you were talking about, I talked with Dave Montgomery before, now Laporta, I think I've got the Lions scoring 77 points based on all the guys I'm going to recommend from Detroit to pick up and play in fantasy. Laporta, though, look, Laporta this year so far, much like TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings and guys like that, you've got a lot of tight ends that are getting started and that were drafted on name only more so than what they can do on the field. The tight ends this year have been very spotty as far as how good they've been. The fact, hell, you saw Darren Waller come out of it not playing for 2 years, come out of a couple of touchdowns in a game on Monday night. And there's not a lot of guys you can count on consistently, which is why I love Jake Ferguson. He's done really well there. If Ferguson's still available in the league, he probably shouldn't be, but if he is, I would grab him and use him quite a bit. Hunter Henry in New England's another guy I like quite a bit. The Harold Fannin Jr., the rookie in Cleveland, who was started off really hot, and people started to say, oh, him over Njoku. They're both even now. And there's no Brown I would pick up on my team other than Quinshon Judkins. The next player I'd pick up on the Browns might be an offensive lineman, hoping he recovers a fumble in the end zone because there's nobody else worth owning on that Browns offense.
Yeah, I agree with all of that 100%. All right, Tito, what do you got in store this weekend? What's coming up on FanStream Sports Ohio today?
So Tim May and Clay Hall are going to record something today that'll go up there very soon based on how quickly Tim gets to it. Tim Ham, that is. But it'll preview Ohio State. They've always got great guests on that. They do a fantastic job. They do it a few days a week on FanStream Sports Ohio. That'll be good. And then coming up this weekend, we'll do more fantasy football stuff. I'll do a Buckeye Blitz as well, a Black and Gold Blitz. We'll talk about that stuff as well. But it's a huge weekend in college football. It's homecoming week for the Minnesota Golden Gophers against Ohio State, 7:30 kick Eastern time. Let me ask you this, Tim. I've asked everybody I've talked to on the radio this week. Were you in the homecoming court? Or was your girlfriend or one of your many extracurricular activities a homecoming queen?
That's actually the correct way to ask that question. I was not in the running, nor did I want to be in the running.
Okay.
I was in the same friend group as our homecoming king.
Okay.
And then the homecoming queen, my senior year, was an ex of mine. So I don't know if you count that or not, but we were still friendly and maybe still,
very friendly,
conversing very friendly.
There you go.
Time, even though we weren't together anymore. Yeah, no, I was involved in all of that. I never wanted to be that guy, right? Like, that's not me.
My first wife was homecoming queen.
Oh.
But she was also homeschooled, so there wasn't much of a contest. She won that rather handily, got every vote.
So, you know what, though? Like, they have homeschool, like, proms and
I know,
stuff
they
now.
do. They do have that kind of stuff, I know. But if you're the homecoming queen in your own household, you're the only daughter. I mean, right?
How'd you like to lose homecoming queen being the only daughter in your house?
Exactly. Or it's a tie. You know what I mean? Like, oh, who won? Oh, Gigi the dog.
Oh, my God. All right, Tito, we appreciate you popping on here. We'll talk to you a little bit later today, I'm sure, with some issue or problem.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, there he goes. The great Tito Fuente Thitoff. None of y'all know who Tito Puente is, do you? I'm pretty sure you probably don't. All right, let's take our last break, and then I got a question for you boys, all of you Petermans, for the other side here. I'll just ask it on the other side. But let's get into JP's great, since I don't have live reads here. We're gonna go through all of the sponsors again. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Don'tGoUncovered.com, Genesis of Tampa, The Golden Diamond Source, Italiano Insurance, Jeeves Law Group, Kingmakers of Tampa, On-Site Construction, Paradiso, Cafe Paradiso, my favorite upscale restaurant in Tampa. Of course, Riveters of Tampa, and I believe they have a new location coming soon if I've been paying attention to the show that I'm on. In St. Pete, I believe, a new Riveters coming soon. My favorite sports bar when I'm in town. And, of course, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. I am IndyCar Tim. This is the JP Peterson Show. Back after this.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience
tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCar Timm, subbing for the illustrious JP Peterson, who is on drunk sports assignment, heading to, I guess we've confirmed now, his alma mater, right? Who was it in the comments that confirmed that he's got 50, man, how much do we pay him? Good grief. 50-yard line seats? Good grief. Doesn't seem right. Jeez, I can't even go to a high school game around here. Yeah, David Terry. JP said he's going to the FSU game and has tickets on the 50-yard line. Might need to rework that contract. Telling you right now. Boys, as we were discussing fantasy football talk with the great Tito Puente, Michael LaRue threw this in there. Tim, you should look up Connor Geeky's goal last night. It was an all-timer. Well, you know what, Michael LaRue? Ask and ye shall receive.
Geeky, I'll be honest, I was watching at the other end with the altercation.
Holy crap.
I'm not even sure if this goal was counted, whether a whistle went or not.
I'm not sure either. I didn't see the finish of the play either because all heck was breaking loose at the other end of the ice. Hopefully for Connor Geeky's sake, especially with a move like this against an experienced defenseman like Seth Jones, and then pay it off. That's what I've been talking about Connor Geeky. This guy's a goal scorer. I mean,
Seth Jones just got, what the hell happened? Seth Jones just got made to look like me on skates. Connor Geeky made Seth Jones look stupid just now, or not just now, but last night. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that. Yeah, I would not have known to go get that. As David Terry says, that was one hell of a goal. Like, that was mid-season form by Connor Geeky, and that is good for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And by the way, for those of you giving me shit about doing a Tampa Bay show in my Dallas studio, we talked about the Buccaneers flag coming. Apparently y'all don't ever notice my Lightning hat that I have hanging on the corner of the TV. And yes, I do wear that. It's like one of my favorite hats in the rotation. When I'm not wearing a FanStream Sports hat, I've got my Lightning hat. Like, I like the shape, the fit. Like, I'm kind of picky about hats, believe it or not. My Lightning hat is one of the ones that are in the rotation, and occasionally when I get recognized out in the boat here in Dallas, people are like, why are you wearing a Lightning hat? Don't you like the Stars? I'm like, yeah, I like the Stars, but I talk about the Lightning, and I really like that. I will tell you this. I also have a Buccaneers hat of the, creamsicle variety. What I do not have, what I have never had in my 54 years of existence, and it's not on purpose, it's just never happened. I have never owned a Dallas Cowboys hat, ever, in my entire life. Probably even when I was begging for one as a child. 8, 9, 10-year-old. I don't think I ever had one. And definitely as an adult, even covering the team, I never had a Dallas Cowboys hat. I've had jerseys, but I've never owned a hat. I don't know why. I've got every other team imaginable, I bet, that you can think of, especially colleges, baseball, some NFL hats, some UFL, old XFL teams. I did used to have an old Tampa Bay Vipers hat of the old XFL, the 2020, not the oldest, but the 2020 version, because I covered the XFL too back in the day. So, yeah. How do you like that? Michael LaRue, Florida's Paul Maurice coaches dirty play. I can't believe the league and NHLPA don't do more to protect their players. You know what? I am not going to disagree with that, especially after last season's playoff series. And I don't know why that's not addressed more anyway. But it's hockey. Guys are supposed to be tough, right? I don't know. Maybe that's the excuse. I have a lot of questions about the way hockey is run. I'll be real honest with you. And not that it's all bad. I just have questions because I'm unfamiliar and they're not very forthcoming as a league with certain things. But if I was to sit down, I'd love to sit down with all the people who make all the decisions in the NHL. Boys, about 20 minutes left, and I don't want to short you guys, things that I promised at the beginning of the show. We're not going to get into any of the replays from last week or from yesterday. We don't have time for William Floyd. We don't have time for Joey Johnston or Doug Wechter. You guys can go back and listen to those from yesterday's show. But what I did want to play, because this was not part of the JP show, I wanted to play this segment from the Big O show where JP and Orestes discussed the Rays, the future with the ownership group, the future of the roster, what's going to happen this summer. Wanted to play that for you, and then I'll pick things back up towards the end of the show.
Did we begin the show with the little Rays-centric conversation, my friend? And we got news.
Yeah.
We got news.
It's been coming out, baby.
Yeah, we got news, and it's about freaking time, frankly. As the new owners have stepped up, and we have some quotes that we could talk about. And we know the press conference is going to be coming up on Tuesday.
I think it's Tuesday.
We don't know where.
Yeah.
We don't know where or when, what time, but it's coming up on Tuesday.
Secret location. But,
location.
But on Tuesday, that new ownership led by Patrick Zalewski and co. It's going to be exciting. There's just so much. Hopefully, continue the positivity of what's they're planning to do, but just the words so far that they've put out there are uplifting. To describe them in one word, they're very uplifting. How can I not like them? I mean, they're thanking everybody they need to thank. Obviously, thank MLB, thank Commissioner Manfred, thanks to Sternberg, etc. But the reality is that now they get an opportunity to kind of mold this team while keep on the winning ways that they've had now for a strong decade.
Well, there were some interesting things that were talked about, and so we want to get into that a little bit as we begin here. And first and foremost, there are a couple more names added to the list. We find out Will Weatherford is part of this group, and Will Weatherford is the Board of Regents, chairman of the Board of Regents of USF. He was the point person for getting the on-campus stadium done.
Huge.
That's a nice little addition to the group. Some guy who knows the template.
The word stadium stands out.
and working with the people, populace, and that build these stadiums. So he knows that whole deal and how to get that done. That's a tremendous asset in this ownership group. Obviously, Patrick Zalewski is the chairman, the managing general partner, who will be co-chaired by Bill Cosgrove, who owns Union Mortgage, another big, deep pocket guy. Who has some
ties to builders in there, aren't there?
Builders,
you got mortgage guys. You got Zalewski with the Dream Company. So it leads you, dramatically into the stadium scenario and hopefully understanding. Obviously, what comes into that also, JP, is the municipalities and them working hand in hand with that. But those three are fantastic. I also, obviously, Workman, I think you might have mentioned, but is massive.
We mentioned him before, but mention him again. Who he is,
and then Ken Babby, I think, is an integral guy that people are going to start knowing who this guy is.
Yeah, Ken Babby. And we've talked about this. He is the guy who is going to be the CEO of the team. He's going to run the day-to-day operations of this team, and
what that means is you've got a guy that knows how to run baseball teams. He knows how to do this and has done it before and done a tremendous job with the Jumbo Shrimp. They just put $30 million into that stadium.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful downtown Jacksonville stadium, and they do great attendance-wise. Same thing in Akron.
Yeah.
And when you hear the politicians talk about working with Ken Babby and what a great community partner is, they can't say enough good things. And this is, to me, the crux of what this new ownership group is all about. They've got deep pockets. They have lots of Tampa Bay ties, have lived in Tampa Bay, care about the community, have shown and established in their life's work that they're very successful at what they do. They have deep pockets. This is an all-star group of investors that Major League Baseball has handpicked and put together for one specific reason, to get a stadium done on the Tampa side.
Yeah, and it's interesting that how what looks right now, seemingly, 2 or 3 of them are going to be really hands-on involvement. It's not just, normally you get an ownership group and it's a head guy and then there'll be just people or whatever, but these guys kind of are involved in it. One of the investors actually has run baseball at the pro level, which is the minor leagues. In fact, Ken Babby, congratulations to him and the AAA Marlins team, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, who won a dramatic game to take the AAA title in Las Vegas on a walk-off home run to win that.
How about that
title just last week? So he's riding high right now. He gets to be in the major leagues and also just had himself a AAA championship. But what that brings, and also another thing, and reading some of the quotes that he made as far as Ken Babby, I love these quotes. He said, "Baseball is about joy, connection, and community. I've seen firsthand how a ballpark can bring people together, and I'm honored to help and create those moments, paired with the continued culture of winning here in Tampa Bay." He added, we are committed to delivering an exceptional fan experience while continuing the Rays tradition of excellence. And we can't wait for opening day, April 6th, and reopen Tropicana Field and celebrate the community's resilience. If you notice how many times community
I noticed that
was mentioned in these words. Community, I've seen it firsthand. Community, to do things. Community's resiliency. I think this is the perfect person to not only have his money where his mouth is, but also be involved, in this by helping running and cultivate and continue. And I also love in there where he says, continue the winning ways.
Yes.
So one thing Stuart Sternberg did, leave as he walks away, still, owning a small share of the team, is a winning methodology and a winning mantra.
A winning GM,
a winning, manager of the year multiple times, and Kevin Cash. There's no doubt winning development of minor leagues, winning, drafting. That all kind of goes into player development, right? Player operations. What needs to kind of be added now is the other aspect that I don't want to. Again, I keep on, joking around and saying about the Savannah Bananas. But you really kind of, baseball to me has always, if you go all the way back to the 30s and the 40s and the barnstorming and the creative things that teams do to what? Bring communities together,
marketing
promotions, do creative things that are out of the box. I'll give you a quick example. And I was going to save it for, by the way, at the end of the show, but it pertains to this right now. Did you know that Ichiro Suzuki played in a game just recently?
No.
He played outfield in a game that the Seattle Mariners, because what happens when your teams have these many days off, they'll play split squad games against each other. So Ichiro decided to play outfield and play right field and bring a little bit of excitement, to this game. He didn't hit because he didn't want to take at bats. But you know what? What a great idea to not only get your work in for the teams, have this great coach, but also, they had 5,000 fans at $10 a pop to come to this game. They kept it nice and tight. And every single dollar's going to the community and going to charity.
That's awesome.
So these are out of the box ideas instead of just having a closed door, inter squad game, which all the other teams probably that are getting buys are doing. What a great idea the Seattle Mariners had.
Yeah.
Use Ichiro, use an opportunity to raise money for a charity in the Seattle area. Well, those are the type of things that can be done and should be done.
And let's be honest, this team has not been marketed or promoted well in the area over the last 20 years. It's something that this group knows that they can do and capitalize on right away, do the right things in the community and reingratiate it. And the people of Tampa Bay have just been waiting for this. We've talked about this.
At the event that I've been in the past, they're just so exciting when you're talking about events like, obviously the initial two big ones are going after little leagues. And I created something years ago, going after the high school ranks, but everything, hospitals and schools and different things, but do it in a more grandiose way.
Put money into it.
Put money
real effort into it.
And then also even the game day experience. I mean, you're wearing your FSU hat.
Yes.
I mean, your FSU shirt.
We have the FSU Miami coming up.
And that, the game day experience is so huge. And listen, baseball is not college football.
Right.
It's too many games. It's too complicated. But you can still do some other kind of out-of-the-box things that I'm hoping Ken Babby and co. will be creating.
Yeah, well, what's similar is the emotional attachment.
Exactly.
And it's what I've said for so long is that baseball is in the fabric of our culture.
Hugely.
And when people dog this market for the attendance and say we don't love baseball, it always gets me pissed off but I understand it from a national level. You look at the surface, you don't even sell out your playoff games. I get it.
Yeah.
And I've gone on countless numbers I've been on the Dan Patrick Show and all these other shows, national shows, trying to explain the nuances of why the attendance isn't what it should be.
Sure.
And there's so many false narratives about it. And the bottom line is just it's about the ownership group is not beloved here. People didn't like the old owner. The location of the stadium is awful. The stadium itself is awful. We've done it all the wrong way. And now we have an opportunity to do everything right.
Right.
Bring in people that care about Tampa Bay, that live here, that love it. There's a whole group of local investors, a robust group of local investors that is still yet to be named. And as we reported many, many months ago, these are the people we're talking about. I mean, Dan Doyle's already been named. Will Weatherford we talked about now. And now you got Fred Ridley, the chairman of Augusta National, who is a lifelong Tampanian. And it's a group of guys that know, love, and are politically connected and know how to get this stuff done, handpicked by Major League Baseball to do so. So the opportunity now has never been greater. We love this team. We love baseball. Right. And now you're going to put a state-of-the-art stadium in the middle of the market and have it backed up with a payroll that is going to be competitive. And this is the way you do baseball. And in my opinion, it is going to explode in terms of the Rays, I think, have kind of been, kind of at the third wheel in terms of our professional
100%.
teams.
Yeah.
And because the Lightning have done so many great things within the community and reached out. And the Buccaneers, it's football. They've been here forever. They've done a great job and they're winning Super Bowls. The Rays are an untapped oil well that can just gush, in my opinion.
I agree.
If we do it the right way.
And another aspect, listen, when you break it down, especially in the state of Florida, okay, we're not talking about Michigan and the northern states where, let's be honest, this is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
There's so many free and fun things.
Yeah.
Think of all those two F's.
Yeah.
Free and fun.
Yeah.
So the beach, just go outside, the lake, go here.
Yeah.
It's free and it's fun.
Yeah.
So you're having to pull those revenues from the people and make it exciting. How do you do that? Winning, obviously, but this team has been winning for a long period of time. And if you give more money towards the resources to build a better team, now you're going to win more consistently at the higher level, which is what's going on right now, postseason, hopefully win championships. And then the other aspect is what you were talking about is having, knowing that you're going to have a new stadium. So those three things, winning, fan, excitement and creating that community loving thing, and then a place to go that people are like, I want to go to the game
Yes,
there. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's not
and
just
we're
about
winning, and these guys are cool. Listen, it's sad that Mr. Stanley for Stanley Cup has been kind of vacationing in Florida for the last several years and just owning Florida.
Right.
By that I mean hockey
Florida
has been owning it. Not only owning it, but the Lightning and the Panthers are more involved in the communities of Tampa Bay
much more.
and South Florida. I'm going to say South Florida because where the Panthers sit, they pretty much kind of have a duality of going after the Fort Lauderdale market and north of that.
The Dade market.
And the Dade market.
Yeah.
The Broward and the Dade market and a little bit
And the
the West Palm Beach market.
Sure.
So what a great job they've done. On top of that, they've won 1-1.
Yeah.
Right? They're
Yeah.
So that's key, but it also key as to what you're putting out to get in.
Yeah.
And that's massive.
And the baseball side of this, so we talked about the new owners and what they can bring to connect to the community and the baseball of forever home, all that, which is huge. But then you add the fact that Eric Neander had his press conference, end of year press conference, and he said he didn't want to speak when asked about, do you expect a new payroll, a bigger payroll? He said, I don't want to, speak to the, I'll let the owners.
It's not the time for him to say that.
But you could see in his body language,
right.
and he was very happy about the future and what is possible
to
be able to work with a payroll now that's going to be closer to average, which is 150, 160 million, instead of working with half that. Yeah. For him, it just opens up so many more opportunities for trades and to be able to make a roster, re-signs, extensions.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what's possible now, because even if you get to 125, that's another $40 million.
$40 million
that you can go out to sign really big time free agents.
Would have made a difference. They had $40 million this year. They would have been in the playoffs.
Absolutely. 100%.
I'm telling you.
And Kevin Cash is like,
they weren't that far from making the wild card.
What does that extra $40-60 million do? Not only does it give you better starters, it gives you more depth.
More depth.
So when every time you get an injury, a bullpen, and you get an injury, it's not the Durham shuffle. And you have to constantly, as a manager,
and every year in, year out, the Durham shuffle, more than not years, has worked.
But it's hard.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Right.
Like this year,
the last couple of years.
Yeah, it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So listen, I think the world of Eric Neander.
Yeah.
I think they should. One of the first tie-ups. Forget about the players on the field.
Yeah.
Make sure you got Eric Neander and nobody steals him.
He looks extremely excited about this.
Yeah, you need to tie him in because he is a mind and a half when it comes to running a baseball program. Now, if you give him more money, then he's going to get more creative.
Yes.
Their scouting department is exceptional. Their development in the minor leagues exceptional. There's no questions about that. Kevin Cash I think is exceptional. Just needed more guns, both on and off, on the mound and at bat. So that being said, who are the key guys that you want to bring back? For me, I bring back Fairbanks and I tie. I at least just take the option and keep him.
For $11 million.
Yeah, for $11 million.
Yeah.
I keep Brandon Lau. He's just been too solid and injury free this year, other than the little nick that he had. And he's got to become. In fact, I kind of push him to be more vocal and become that team leader.
Another $12 million all-star, 30 bomb.
$12 million.
Yeah, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah, Yandy's already tied in. The question with Yandy is do you trade him to try to get something else? Because a lot of teams love that player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's still a very attractive player on both sides because of the fact that both leagues now are using, the DH.
He had a great year.
And he is a team leader. You know what I mean? So the question is going to be in the hot corner at third base.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go ahead and try to do a 6-7 year deal with Junior Caminero and try to tie him up for $120 million, $130 million for 7 years? Just throwing out some potential numbers. You got to, get him through arbitration and at least two years, if not 3. That would be the 6-year realm of getting him through free agency. Because otherwise, but it's a catch-22 because Junior and his representatives might be thinking, listen, we're not that far from arbitration. We're like a year away from arbitration. He's going to jump from making, 800. Next year maybe he makes $1 million and $1, and he's gonna jump exponentially to $7-8 million if he just does not extend.
Right.
And then year 2 of arbitration, he's gonna be at $12 million, and year 3 he could be at $18 million. So it's a tough deal for a young kid at 22 years old to decide, am I going to gamble on myself, or am I going to take, a 9-digit, signing?
And I think he should take that money, put it in the bank.
Yeah. But Scott Boras, who tells him, let's just play year by year and make the money in arbitration, and then look for that $40 million a year, bite. But,
and we talked a little bit.
If you tie him up, I'm going to tell you right now, if that's one of the early things that they do, I think the court of public opinion is going to go like, oh yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
If they don't do it, might go the other way.
But that's what we're talking about, because this kid, if there's anybody that looks like a winner, looks like a kid that is implemented in the system and believes it. He's a likable kid in the thing. You didn't have that with Wander. Wander was a meme player, even before the issues.
That's right.
Very cocky, throwing the ball up in the air and catching it and throwing the guy out. Doing some really, really kind of.
He was a bad teammate.
He was not a great teammate, and then you have the issues.
Yeah.
If he never had the issues,
he'd still be a bad teammate.
He'd still be a bad teammate.
Yeah. So Junior's better than that.
Junior's 100% better than that.
So in terms of free agency, we don't know until we're at the press conference Tuesday I'm sure they're not going to give a number, but are they in play for a guy like Kyle Tucker, who, by the way, has always told me that he didn't want to play in the Trop because it crushed his knees.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is they're going to have a new turf in the Trop. Hopefully it's better.
Yeah.
And he's now more open to playing, signing, and coming home to Tampa, we've been told. So doesn't mean that they're going to get him. And I'm not putting the pressure on the new regime. Oh, you got to go get Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. No.
But I'm just saying now that's something that's in play.
Yeah.
Because if you go to 120, 130 in your payroll and you're still below average, you could sign a guy for $35-40 million like Kyle Tucker. I mean, and you need a power hitting outfielder. So why the hell not?
Oh no, you need a power hitting, and that would be the optimal power hitting outfielder.
He would fit. I mean,
he would
perfect
fit to a T if you want to go that hefty. I just think he's going to be so much in demand. The Red Sox covet him dramatically because they would just usher out Duran and put him in over there. They're ready for that, whether in right or in left, but wherever, because Kyle can play either corners very well. I think the longevity of the contract might be a little bit
difficult. Be hard for this group.
That's what it is. But if it was a shorter contract at $40 million a year, that's a viability. I just don't think that he's going to, and nor do I think that makes fiscal sense right off the bat. At this point.
Right. No.
That makes fiscal sense to me a few years down the road.
When you get into the new stadium and the new revenues kick in.
When an Ellie De La Cruz is available for free agency or something like that at 23 years old now, and when he's 26 and the state.
All right, boys and girls, there you go. That was basically the meat of the Big O show, with talking about Tampa's future, the Rays' new ownership group, some things to expect, what they might do with the roster. Just Orestes just has a ton of insight into all of that stuff, and I hope you guys are tuning in to the Big O show a couple times a week here, at least on FanStream Sports here in Tampa Bay. It's also a podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as at fanstreamsports.com. Head to the Tampa Bay section of fanstreamsports.com to get all of his shows and all of that fun stuff that the Big O offers all of us. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to get into a little bit of the college football schedule, at least to let you guys know kind of what's happening, in case you don't. I'm sure you do. It's not like you can't go look it up. I get it. Thought we'd close the show with this anyway. And look, we all know Florida plays Texas tomorrow on Saturday. Everybody is declaring that Arch is back, baby. Look, I'm an Arch fan. Everybody knows my connection with the Manning family. Archie was my favorite quarterback. We talked about that earlier. I named a kid Eli because my wife at the time wouldn't let me name him Archie. Peyton's a girl's name. So, yeah, I have a son named Eli because of Eli Manning. All right. I love the Manning family. Arch is having issues. Arch is not good right now. And after the Longhorns game last week or 2 weeks ago, because they're off this past week, where the Longhorns beat Sam Houston State University 55-0. Arch ran in some touchdowns, threw for some touchdowns, whatever. All of the Longhorns fans are declaring Arch is back. Just tap the brakes, all right? It was Sam Houston State. We've talked about this. Arch isn't back because he wasn't here to leave to go anywhere. You could say maybe if this is how you feel that Arch has arrived, don't say he's back because he's never been here. He's having issues. The Longhorns offense is having issues. It's not just Arch. But to say that he's back because of what he did against Sam Houston State, which is a level of competition barely a tick above who he played in high school and dominated, well, he's supposed to play well against them. So by comparison, Thursday night, last night, college football slate opened up. Sam Houston at New Mexico State. The New Mexico State Aggies are not good. New Mexico State quarterback Logan Fife lit up Sam Houston for 255 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Logan Fife is back, baby. No, Arch isn't back. All right, just let's see what he does against the Gators. But on your slate of college football tonight, Friday night, October 3rd, don't forget the Bulls hosting Charlotte at Ray J. Tickets still available. That is at 7 o'clock Eastern time. According to ESPN, tickets available as low as $36. Get over there to Ray J and support those Bulls in their incredible season for sure. Saturday, you got number 12 Georgia hosting Kentucky in the morning. Rocco Becht and number 14 Iowa State travels to Cincinnati. That's a noon kickoff. Local game. You got Clemson at North Carolina. It's also a noon game on ESPN if you're into that ACC matchup. And then you've got some national interest. You've got, by the way, the number 9 Texas at Florida. That is at 3:30 p.m. That is also an ESPN game. That'll come on after the Clemson North Carolina game for sure. And then where did I see we had the Kansas at UCF there at FBC Mortgage Stadium in Orlando, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN2. The big one, though, number 3 Miami at number 18 Florida State. That is at 7:30 on ABC. I will not get to watch a lot of that because I will be watching Mississippi State at number 6 Texas A&M, also at 7:30 on SEC Network /ESPN live from Kyle Field and College Station. I was supposed to go to that game, but travel has not allowed me to do that and work. So anyway, you guys enjoy college football Saturday. JP and Nick will be back on Monday with another JP Peterson Show. Lots of sports talk. I'm sure they will recap and talk about UCF. You know he'll be talking about Florida State, win or lose either way, and Miami. Probably talk a lot of Gators, Longhorns, all of that, as well as the Bucs' big win in Seattle, as it's going to happen. And then I will be back with JP on Tuesday morning with some more JP Peterson Show here on FanStream Sports. Check out the website. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with me today, making this a fun one for me. It's been a blast. It's the first time I've done one of these this full 2-hour show. And thanks to you guys, you made it a ton of fun for me. I appreciate it very, very much. I will see you guys on Tuesday morning, if not before. By the way, check out my other shows. The FanStream Sports Dallas channel. The Colby Sapp and IndyCar Timm Show. It's something Colby and I are very proud of. It is not all sports. We talk a little bit of Cowboys, a little bit of local sports. It is all guy talk. It is all current events, comic book stuff, movies, television. It is all sorts of stuff. It is not just Dallas local sports. Go check that out or subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast. We have a lot of fun with that. That is every Wednesday night. We will be going to daily shortly for that as well. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on Tuesday. Until then, boys and girls, we'll see ya.